Bitcoin is eating the world. More importantly, Michael Saylor is eating the world's Bitcoin. Jumping over to the numbers, we'll jump into a couple of epic things very shortly. Hong Kong has got some amazing regulation. We're going to dive into that today. Let's just have a look at the Bitcoin numbers. We are at block height 801,989, 5:55 a.m. local time. Average block 9 minutes 56 seconds. What I found interesting here, the next halving, 38,011 blocks. Not very far to go. We are 81.9% of the way there. Very, very exciting. Michael Saylor eating the world's Bitcoin, and he's got a little bit of a graph here for everyone that's watching on YouTube. I've brought it up on the screen for you to take a look at. You can see MicroStrategy, since the adoption of a Bitcoin strategy, MicroStrategy is up 254% compared to Bitcoin's 145%. S&P 37, the Nasdaq 31, gold -3, silver -14, and the bonds -18. And then following in that, sort of big tech stocks, 78, 74, 61, 21%. Enterprise software, Oracle, sort of comes in the closest there at 113%. But MicroStrategy, because of the Bitcoin strategy, has just gone on an absolute tear. Pretty awesome to see. Well done, Michael. I just want to say, and this is not financial advice, if you've got Bitcoin, maybe don't sell it to Michael Saylor at only 30,000 or just under. And what we're going to do is get into the price here. So cryptocurrency price by market cap, you can see we're sitting at $1.21 trillion, up 0.1% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin exactly sideways, 29,045 on the nose there. The low in the last 24 hours, 28,973, a high 29,083, really tight range bound. It's going to go sideways before a big move, and as we've seen, this is over the last 2 weeks, we really have not done too much. Zooming out further, it's been very boring for a very long time, but we have these times where it's just really boring, everyone gets impatient, and then either a huge move to the upside or to the downside. I would put my bets on the upside. Maybe we get some small downward moves, but we are trending up and to the right. That's sort of where we're heading going into the halving. They're less than 38,011 blocks away. Ethereum 1829, down 0.3% last 24 hours. Same deal. If we zoom out to 90 days, sideways, up, sideways. Not doing much in the last 24 hours. Ethereum's had a low of 1825 and a high of 1836. And it's just range bound, has been for a very long time. It is starting to get a little bit boring, but that's where you need to keep active, and there's some good opportunities to be able to buy the dip. Jumping over to the banter bubbles, if you're a trader, I'm not sponsored. I actually just find this really cool to look at. If you're a trader, they've got this trading competition there. If you're not a trader, don't try to trade. Maybe learn to trade, study trading, but that's probably the easiest way not to get wrecked. Maybe dollar cost average is a better bet. Hex, I think that's game over, really, isn't it, for the Hex ecosystem? Anything with RH, and then love to know your thoughts in the comments below in regards to that. So let's get into the Bitcoin news, hey? Now, Bitcoin's become a 2024 presidential election campaign like a topic, and isn't that insane? That Bitcoin's become this real, that presidential hopefuls are using it as a way to be able to gain votes. But it's the brand of Bitcoin's become so strong that it's favorable to be associated with the brand of Bitcoin, that they're using it. If it wasn't helpful to their campaign, they wouldn't bring it up. So it's pretty exciting stuff, really. Let's jump into it, and then we'll jump into Hong Kong. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez to accept presidential campaign donations in Bitcoin. Move as part of the process of developing technologies that are going to create democratizing opportunities for wealth creation, Suarez said in an interview. Supporters can donate as little as 0.00034 Bitcoin or about $1. FrancisSuarez.com, he said. Suarez, and I have no idea who this guy is. Politically, for the States, it means nothing to me. I'm here in Australia. I'm just think this is absolutely amazing. I know nothing about him, if he's left or right, up or down, whatever it is. You know, if he sleeps standing up, I have absolutely no idea about this guy. But for another presidential hopeful to begin accepting Bitcoin, this is absolutely massive news. And what he has to say about it is the Biden administration's handling of crypto. He is very critical in regards to it. The biggest mistake that this administration has made is they don't understand crypto. So they've gone to a regulate by enforcement mechanism as opposed to set the ground rules. You have to be able to classify certain digital products. You have to be able to have certain guidelines and rules that are clear with respect to the custody of assets. He would ban a central bank digital currency. Nobody wants the federal government knowing where you have your money and how much money you have. Just really quickly, thanks for everyone that's been watching these videos. This Luke Mikic video blew up over the last couple of days. But if you haven't seen these ones here, these are the high level conversations. You can go straight there. Jake Woodhouse, Brian D. Mint, best-selling author, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Bitcoin Mining 101. Robbie works for Riot, the world's largest Bitcoin mining company. So, and Natalie Brunel, like all of these people, absolutely amazing. So thanks everyone that's subscribed lately. And if you haven't already, check out some of those videos. That's where my passion lies, the podcast interviewing the best, the brightest minds in Bitcoin. But I will show up every day and provide the narrative of what is going on, just so you can rest easy, get informed, and then move on with your day. So that's what's going on with presidential hopefuls. Jumping over to Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, he's a goat. He says the SEC, screw you. Basically, Coinbase moves to dismiss SEC lawsuit, alleging crypto falls out of the regulator's oversight. Coinbase asked judge to dismiss the SEC's case against it, alleging the regulator is stepping well outside of its jurisdiction and suing the crypto exchange. The transactions over Coinbase platform and Prime are not and do not involve contractual undertakings to deliver future value reflecting the income, profits, or assets of a business. They are commodity sales with obligations on both sides discharged entirely the moment the digital token is delivered in exchange for payment, the filing said. Now, they expect to win this case, but it's important to understand that their goal across not just the litigation, but all of their efforts engaging with the SEC, engaging with the US government as a whole, is to achieve regulatory clarity to protect consumers, promote innovation, and essentially establish clear rules of the road that everyone can understand and follow. So Coinbase doing the crypto industry a favor in trying to get clarity for everyone, know what the rules are. At least people can play by the rules. They may or may not like them. At least they know what they are, instead of getting regulated by enforcement. Now, SBF, our favorite crypto super, I was about to say superhero, a little bit of a super villain. This guy is facing jail as Justice Department pushes for incarceration. It's probably pretty unlikely. The guy's too connected. But in regards to it, the Justice Department said in its first filing last Friday that Bankman-Fried's conduct, which included his use of a VPN, a virtual private network, to watch the Super Bowl, quote unquote, according to his defense. Yeah, right. Absolutely, yeah, right. If he's using a VPN, he's not there watching the Super Bowl. Anyway, he's reaching out to the FTX.US General Counsel Ryan Miller and now sharing of Ellison's diary with the Times show that he repeatedly seeks to corruptly influence witnesses. Very unlikely due to that he's going to be locked up. If the DOJ could convince the judge that Bankman-Fried isn't going to obey judicial orders and he's going to keep trying to harass and abuse his ex, retaliate against her for testifying, trying to influence her not to testify and so forth, and that would be a basis for the judge to decide that he's going to jail. White said, "We'll see if he gets locked up. I highly doubt it. Like I said, he's way too connected to be spending too much time in prison." For anyone out there, isn't it crazy? Like he's obviously very smart, greed got in the way, and then you just destroy your whole life. Like what's the point of that? What is the point of that? He could have just had a legit exchange going on, but it's just crypto. I don't know what it is about crypto. It just brings in all these scammers and they just get so greedy and they run off with everyone's money. It doesn't happen in Bitcoin. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I'm sorry that it keeps happening. Now, Hong Kong, their crypto regulation licensing, absolutely amazing. Absolutely great. It's going to cost a pretty penny. We're looking at like $20 million. To be able to get one of these licenses. The city's new licensing regime paves the way for exchanges to operate legally and serve retail clients. But we are looking $12 to $20 million for it. Real interesting. Actually, really, really interesting what they're doing there. Having such a high price target on there, or a cost to be able to play the game, in a couple of ways, it's a good thing. And the reason for that is because they're already established. They've got enough money in their war chest to be able to play, to be able to operate, to give investors peace of mind. And we know because of people like Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, FTX, Celsius, doesn't necessarily mean they're good actors, but be operating for at least a year already. They've at least tried to establish themselves and they've done the right things so far. So 3 individuals familiar with but not allowed to speak publicly on the application process told CoinDesk that obtaining a new license could cost anywhere between 12 and 20 mil. Their estimates took into account operating costs leading up to the license and payment, the necessary vendors for the application itself, including consultants, lawyers, and insurance providers. Licensing consultants can charge up to $1 million to advise companies on the application. If you're looking for a job, it's probably a real cool one to be studying for. A person familiar with the matter said, so exchanges are required to maintain a paid up share capital of 5 million Hong Kong dollars, 640,000, liquid capital of at least 380,000. They must hold liquid assets equivalent to at least a year of operating expenses, not counting virtual assets. Companies will have to invest in capabilities that ensure segregation of clients' funds, safe custody of assets, pay for smart contract audits, and overall corporate governance before onboarding investors. Firms will need to assess their knowledge of virtual assets so in depth. They are trying to do everything to protect retail investors, which is absolutely fantastic. And this is the regulation that I think we need to see in the space for it to be able to become more of a mainstream thing, especially with crypto. We've got guidance around Bitcoin, but especially with crypto. Firms must also have a local presence with seed phrases and private keys with backups stored in Hong Kong. A little bit scary, that one. We can dive into it. They must hire compliance officers known as licensed responsible officers, ROs, to make sure the business meets the regulatory requirements, and each applicant is required to have at least 2 ROs. With the ROs there, I wonder if they're coming from mainland China, if they are deployed bots, agents. That's a little bit of speculation there. But whatever that licensed responsible officer is, and then if people are going to be able to self-custody, or they're just going to be able to buy and hold their Bitcoin, their crypto on the exchange, if you've got the opportunity, always self-custody, not your keys, not your coins. As we go over, remember these videos, that's where it's at. These podcasts are absolutely amazing. This Jake Woodhouse gets very deep straight away. Very intelligent guy. Everyone that I've had on is absolutely intelligent. So enjoy those videos. Racing through, we obviously had Rob from Riot on, but talking about the largest crypto miners, they're going to benefit most from the capacity growth. This is an article by Bear Stein. Large miners with a low cost of production and low debt are likely to be the big beneficiaries of increased capacity, the report said. Couple of things. Bitcoin miners are adding significant capacity, with the 16 largest publicly listed mining companies accounting for 16% of total Bitcoin mined. Burstein says their combined mining capacity is currently 72 exahashes per second and notes the firms are planning to increase that by 182% in the next 2 to 3 years. Their hash rate is going up and to the right exponentially. Is it hash rate or price which follow each other? Don't know, but both of them do follow each other given long enough. History doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. Let's caveat it. However, the largest miners with low cost of production and low debt are likely to be the big beneficiaries of capacity addition, with greater capacity to withstand any Bitcoin price volatility and cost spike from upcoming Bitcoin halving Q1 2024. 38,000, 10 blocks away by now, I reckon. So the Bitcoin price is currently in the vicinity of 30K. 15 of the companies have production costs below 15,000 per Bitcoin. Imagine that if you were getting your Bitcoin today at $15,000. That's the power of Bitcoin, of these mining companies. They're a leverage play on Bitcoin. With the upcoming halving though, that would double the cost of the production and would push a few of the miners to break even, assuming no price increase from here. How long can they stay solvent while the market stays irrational to be able to move it up? That's the game that the miners are playing. It's very exciting. They're good leverage play, but you're not holding the Bitcoin if you are investing in these companies. Be aware of that. If the market sees positive momentum from Bitcoin ETF approvals and increased institutional participation, that would give miners enough margin room for the 2024 halving, the note said, adding that the lower cost of production betters the mining position for the Bitcoin halving impact. So Riot, Marathon Digital, Hut 8 and Hive Digital hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. This allows these firms to wait for high prices before selling and make greater realized gains in the crypto they have mined, the note added. Remember, with that line there, they are holding Bitcoin to sell. Like they're a company, their long-term strategy, some of them will be to hold on to as much Bitcoin as possible for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But they are going to sell Bitcoin along the way. Be aware of that. And know that we'll just put in natural roofs that will eventually become floors, but eventually that's going to put a top on it or add to the top in the market there. So Elon Musk with Twitter, are you calling it Twitter or are you calling it X? Like I still go to call it Twitter. That habit for me is going to take a long time to die. He's not putting out a token. He's not creating his own token. If you see anything on Twitter where there's the Twitter X token, the X token or whatever, it's all a scam. Please don't buy into it. Some of them are going to absolutely pump. They're going to trend. They're going to do well because of the narrative, and then they're all going to dump. Like the guarantee is they're going to dump. So maybe not waste your time. Just be aware that won't happen. But in regards to Elon Musk, Doge and Bitcoin are probably coming to Twitter pretty soon. That's a prediction that I want to have a receipt for. So anyway, that's what I think there. Make sure you do check out these videos, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Means a lot. We've got some amazing people coming on for podcasts that will come out next week. But we have, of all people, Jason Meyer, A Progressive Case for Bitcoin, the author of that book, absolutely amazing, halfway through, so I'll finish that before I interview him. We have Greg Foss coming on, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you subscribe for him. When I dive in with Greg Foss, if you've got any questions for any of these gentlemen, drop them in the comments below, and we have Peter Dunworth as well. So Very exciting lineup. That's for this Friday, and they'll be released. So hit the subscribe button. It's been a real pleasure spending this time with you today. Have a beautiful one. Peace.